Hi, today is the 20th of May 2024. So as you can see, I'm crying right now and I felt like I just needed to talk. Even though I would love to make this video about how excited I am to be in Spain and stay here for a month, right now I just need to speak about something else. Dad is here with me for the first few days. So this morning it was planned that we go to the police station to get my NIE number so I can start working here or even move here if I ever want to, just to have it kind of done and to have it in the back of my pocket. And something just went wrong there, like our appointment wasn't confirmed. And so Dad was speaking back and forth for like at least half an hour with his solicitor, trying to find a solution and speaking with the police officer, and they just wouldn't take us. And I was just present there with him and kind of observing everything and giving him whatever documents he needs. And I was like, I was okay. I was like surrendered to that moment. I was like, yeah, nothing we can do. We're trying our best, whatever. I saw how Dad was getting very agitated at first. Then he stayed pretty calm after that. But let's just say it didn't work out, okay? And then we made a new plan for the day. So I wanted to, since we came here like 3 days ago, I wanted to definitely try out our new air fryer before Dad leaves in 2 days. And it was planned that we try it out today. So we kind of made a new plan that we're gonna go shopping to get the last bits and pieces for myself. And Dad was gonna get some food, and what I understood him say was that he was going to take it with him, which first I was like, usually he doesn't want to do that because he wants warm food, but I just kind of was like, okay, he's taking it with him. That's what I understood. And then I was like, okay, that's fine, then I'll have time to try out the air fryer and eat at home, and the dinner I picked out would take like half an hour. And then at 4 we had an appointment with one of the neighbours here in the village to go and pick out tiles for our new bathroom, and that was going to take a couple hours this afternoon. And so there wasn't a lot of time for all of that to happen, but I was like, okay, we'll manage it. And I was also fine with it because I thought Dad was taking the food with him, because the last few times we went to this pizza place where he wanted to get a pizza again, I didn't feel super comfortable sitting there, even though I was fine and I did it and I would do it again if I had to. But if I didn't have to, I would much prefer that to not sit there, because I didn't feel very comfortable. And then what we were going to do in that very moment where we made these plans, we were going to just walk up to the little shop that's here in the village and just buy some small bits that I knew they had in the shop that I also needed. And while walking up, I kind of asked just to clarify again, okay, so we're going to do this and then get home so I can try the air fryer, because we don't have a lot of time left before we need to go with this man to look at the tiles. Then he first tried to explain it, and then I had another question just to clarify in my mind how it's all supposed to work. And yeah, I asked like, oh, so are you gonna eat the food in the car? And then he told me that he was getting very agitated because I'm asking again and we already know the plan, but to be honest it wasn't super clear, because what he then said basically was that no, he's gonna eat there. And I was like, oh, so are you gonna take it to the car, or are you gonna sit there? And he said, no, I'll sit there. And to me then that was like, oh wait, so first of all, I didn't plan the extra like half an hour that he's gonna eat. Second of all, I wasn't like, I don't feel strong enough. I don't know how to say it. I didn't plan for sitting there again. I thought he was taking it with him, and then being in the car, I was like, okay, maybe that's fine. But then he said he's not even gonna do that. And then I suggested, like, okay, maybe I just stay home and kind of I make my food here and you can take your time eating, and I'll just give you the shopping list with the last few pieces so you can get it for me. And then he said a couple things, then like, no, you're coming with me, and this is supposed to be time where we do things together, and this is your shopping, I'm not going shopping for you, I'm supposed to go with you. And honestly, I don't know, the few things that he said just made me like shut up for a few seconds and kind of really made my mood sink. And I wasn't like really angry or whatever, but I was very annoyed that he was saying to me, I'm coming. Like, just saying, no, you're coming because you have to do the shopping with me. I'm not doing it by myself. Even though, like, he could take his time eating, he could eat wherever he wants, and he would just have to pick up a couple things that were still on the shopping list. And I'm sorry that it sounds really dramatic, but there's more to it, and these are all really strong memories where, like, I was forced to do certain things. I was forced to go for walks, to sit out in the sun. I was forced to go with them into town, which made me really uncomfortable. And I was really, really highly sensitive because I wasn't protected at that time. So everything made me feel so overwhelmed and made me feel like I couldn't take it. And especially feeling like you have to do something, like you don't have a choice. It's like you're just captured and being tortured, and you have to do things that you don't want to do. When we got home, he said, okay, let's just discuss this because we'll have to find a solution for you to come. So again, I didn't even have the option to stay, but we had to find a solution for me to come. And then we sat down, and I could already feel I was like on the verge of a breakdown because what happened this morning as well with the NIE, it was just too much for some reason. And it wasn't like it was unbearable or it was so horrible, because it wasn't, but it was just a lot. Okay, let's not say that it's too much, it was just a lot. The memories that even with a few simple words Dad said, the memories that came with that were so horrible, and the way it made me feel like he's just the boss of me, he's controlling me, and that's the way it made me feel. It wasn't like he was actually controlling me, and I knew that if I would really say to him, no, I can't go, like I don't feel like I can go, he wouldn't make me go nowadays, like he would understand that. Anyways, when we came home, and then we went into the living room and sat down, and I could feel like I was on the verge of a breakdown. Like I remembered from the past, whenever we would talk, it would always end up with me either being in the middle of a breakdown or breaking down after the conversation. So those memories came because things always led from one to the other and led to a huge breakdown. And anyways, when we sat down first, then he got a call, and so we couldn't talk, and I left the room. And then like 10 minutes later we came back, and when I walked down the stairs again, I could feel again that there was a point inside of me that if this was hit, I would be done. Like, if that point, which was very delicate in that moment, would have been like hit or put down or whatever you want to call it, I would have been like done, down and out and whatever. And so he explained how he imagined it to go down and what we're gonna do. And then I talked, and of course his plan was that I go with him. And then I talked, and I was like, yeah, the thing is, I'm fine if I don't use the air fryer today. Like, that's not an issue. The thing is, I don't really feel like eating out again, because that's what we did these past few days the whole time. And I don't feel like eating a pizza or a doner right now. And then he was like, oh, you can just get something from McDonald's or Burger King or whatever you want. Then I also tried to explain or tell him kind of, it's just a bit much right now, and I don't feel like going to that place again. And he was like, yeah, but we don't have to go there. And then if I just got like a portion of chips from McDonald's, like that wouldn't have really been enough. And that's usually just what I get in McDonald's, because I don't really like anything else. The thing is, he was trying to find solutions, and he found various solutions. He also said, like, the main thing for him is that he just wants to spend time with me, because I'll be alone on Wednesday for 4 weeks. And then I kind of felt like I don't have the strength to go out again. Like, I knew I could, but I really felt like I just wanted to be home right now. And also then it made me feel really bad if I were to say, no, I'm going to stay home, because I don't want him to be upset and him to be alone or to be angry at me or disappointed. And I knew, like, it was nice that he wanted us to do stuff together, but then I was like in between that again, which really reminded me of the past as well, where I felt like I was making bad decisions because I wasn't going with him and doing what he wanted or asked me to do. So I felt really bad for wanting to stay home. And then I just got up and went into the kitchen to see if there is anything I can just quickly eat, so that a portion of chips is enough. But while I went into the kitchen, looked for stuff, like, tears kind of just came into my eyes, because it was just a lot, and I just really felt like I really wanted to stay home, just be safe and know that there's comfort and not go out again. And not that it's like too much. I don't want people to think it's too much for me to go out. No, because I did that these past few days as well, and I knew I could do it, but I really, in that moment, I felt like I just wanted to be home right now. And then, yeah, feeling bad about wanting to stay home, which meant then leaving Dad and him by himself. And things he said, just like, for example, like, you're gonna go from busy to bored really quick, and you'll be bored, or you'll be by yourself for 4 weeks and you only have me now. And like, kind of making me feel bad, even though he wanted, I guess, to make me feel better about going with him or whatever he wanted to do with that. But it just made me feel bad about the decision that I wanted to make about staying home. Again, I felt kind of like I had to go, or he really was kind of pushing me to go with him, which it was just making it all more difficult. So I had tears in my eyes, and he kind of noticed that, and then and I'm not sure, there was something he said and I said, and I guess he kind of just noticed that I was like not speaking completely normal because I had tears in my eyes and I was upset and whatever, and I didn't speak like badly, but you could hear that I had like tears in my eyes. The way I'm speaking now, like, you can hear it, that I was crying. And so then he said, you don't need to make yourself a toast because you're not coming into the car with me when you're like this. I don't want you to come with me when you're like this. Which, again, great, but like, thanks for that. But at the same time, I was kind of like, oh, thank God, because I really didn't feel like going. And it's not like it was in the past where it was like so horrible. I felt like I really couldn't go and I really don't want to go, because it was fine. It was kind of like because I had explained to him on the couch, which I forgot to say, it was like, I think the main problem for me is that I don't feel comfortable sitting at that place. So if you could just get pizza into the car and eat there, then it's fine. And then he was like, yeah, okay, that's fine, I'll do that. At least now you finally figured out what it was, what was bothering you. And then he was like, yeah, but if you're not gonna eat anything there, then it's gonna be too late when we come back home and you eat something here. This was before I thought of just getting a portion of chips in McDonald's and making me a sandwich at home. And so he then said, yeah, it's going to be pretty late then when you come back. It's going to be rushy and when you still have to eat here. And I was like, yeah, that's my other problem. And then anyways, then I went into the kitchen, made myself a sandwich, teared up, blah, blah, blah. He heard me speak differently. Said he didn't want me to come into the car when I was like that. And he just kind of impatiently said to me, just give me the shopping list. And so I went over to my bag, opened it, took out the shopping list, and then he was like, Leona, just act normal, like you're 18. And I was like, who the heck cares if I'm 18? So I took out the note, and that's when I kind of like burst out, and I was like, I am a human and I have feelings and I am allowed to cry. And so I pulled out the shopping list and I threw it onto the table and it fell onto the ground because it's a thin piece of paper. I don't know why that information was important for me to tell. But anyways, this is not funny. Okay, so basically he made the decision for me then that I was staying home, which I was actually fine with going then at that point and just getting a portion of chips and sitting in the car. Like, I was actually fine. But then, like, I don't know the exact order, but I think then when I continued making myself a toast, I had closed the kitchen door, and leaned against it so he wouldn't come in because I didn't want him to come back in and say something to me again and don't help me and don't respect me and what I want. So he came into the kitchen again. He was like, I tried to give you so many solutions, so why aren't you accepting one of them, or something like that. He said something with, he gave me so many solutions, and then I was like, I don't need any solutions. And he was like, if you don't need any solutions, why don't you just come with me? And I was like, that's not the point. Why aren't you just listening to me? While I was still in the living room and taking out the shopping list, and he said to me, Leona, act normal, you're 18. And then I like burst into tears and said whatever I said to him. And I went back into the kitchen. He said something to me, probably like, what's your problem? Or why are you crying now? Or there's no need to cry. Or he said something, I don't even remember. It's not important. The important thing is that I then said back to him, you're not respecting me. You're not respecting what I'm asking for, what I want. And he was like, what, you think you're respecting me? And I was like, I didn't say anything to you. So I didn't say anything to him that he had to do or he had to change. I was literally saying he could do whatever he wants. Just basically let me stay at home. And he always in our fights, always turned the problem back onto me. So if I would have said, you're hurting me, or stop saying that to me, or you're being disrespectful to what I want, or you're not listening to me, he would always say that I am not listening to him, I am not respecting him, I am hurting him. Whatever it was, he always turned the problem back onto me. Like, I always did everything wrong and it was always my fault. He never just took it on and said, not even sorry or whatever, but just stayed quiet and saw that he was not respecting me. And I don't even care if maybe this is all my fault. The point is that it really, really hurt me and it was a really stupid situation. And the things he said reminded me so much of the past and how this is exactly how things worked out all the time in the past. And they never worked out. It was never just simple. awful things to me, and these things aren't even the worst of what he said. Like, they're some of the minor things, but just how disrespectful he was to me. Like, Leona, you're 18, act normal. Or whatever. I couldn't even understand the first thing he said. I think he said, act normal, Leona, you're 18. Or act like an adult, Leona, you're 18, which that is something he would say. He did say that in the past, but I'm not exactly sure if he said act normal. I just mainly heard, Leona, you're 18. And his like judgment and not being compassionate and so impatient. And then when I had to rewrite the shopping list for him because like it was too messy and there was bits that we already got and I forgot to cross off, like, which was fine, I rewrote it. But then when I went back into the kitchen, he had like prepared my meal for the air fryer because that was the first time I was using it, and he didn't know if I knew how to use it, so he kind of prepared that for me, which I don't know if that was his way of trying to be nice again or if he just did it because he felt like he was responsible or whatever. He did it anyways while I was rewriting the shopping list. And then I went back into the kitchen and he just took the shopping list, and I heard something slam on the ground, which was a copy, and I don't know if he wanted to like put it back on the shelf and then it wouldn't stay on the shelf, so then he threw it on the ground, or he just straight away threw it on the ground. But the thud was so loud that he definitely threw it on the ground. And then he just left without saying goodbye or saying anything, which I don't expect him to say that. But like the way we were talking, it was actually like we weren't fighting anymore, or we didn't fight at all. It was just really a really stupid situation and really hurtful. And I'm sure he's hurt as well. I'm not saying he's not hurt. I'm not saying that, but in the past, there wouldn't have been an end to this. This would have gone on forever. And then the next day and weeks later and months later would have still been held against me and always circled back to that situation where I did something wrong or where I hurt him or where I burst into tears, whatever. A really, really stupid situation which reminded me so strongly of the past, and the past was obviously so much worse. And when he left, I just really, really bawled the same way I'm doing now, and I sat down onto the stairs and just cried and listened to voicemails that Mom and Alana sent me, and Alana wanted to talk to me, but I just said that I'm not feeling so great right now, I'll text you later, but don't worry, and so on. And I just saw a few texts from Alana coming in saying like, are you okay, do you want to talk about it? But I just knew I wanted to jump onto a video right away because I felt like I needed to talk and I wanted to cry and let it all out. It's like the song Let Me Hurt by Emily Road, I think her name is, and a lyric says like, now I sink into the pain until it's all gone. And that's exactly kind of my method of getting through things as well. It's like you fully acknowledge and see the pain and fully feel it, because then you can break through it and continue. And this was the perfect opportunity as well to talk because Dad is not here, and I have my dinner already taken out of the oven. It went way faster than expected. Anyways, I think I'm gonna stop this video. I'm sure I could talk for hours about this. And to me, it's like I'm fine with being alone. I'm actually really excited for that. And yeah, maybe we should spend more time together, or maybe I'll feel sad when I'm alone that we didn't spend enough time together, or maybe I'll be scared when I'm alone and I'd want someone beside me, but that's not right now. Right now I felt like I just needed to be home, and everything else is beside the point. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what the solution is. also felt like ringing mom or sending her a voicemail because she's at work, and like I didn't want to disturb her at work, but I just felt like I'd like to talk to her, but then again I was a bit scared to tell her because she always explains that side, and even if she doesn't always, but she does it often enough and just explain that side, and he can't do it differently, he doesn't mean it that way, or it's his OCD, or that's his difficulty, that's what he's working on, I hope he gets better. It's like always him, and not just seeing that I'm freaking hurt and he hurt me, and just be there for me. Believe me, she's much better than in the past. Like in the past, she could never fully just be there for me, and now she does. And when I say to her, like, Mom, I don't care which way Dad meant it, the point is he hurt me, then often she gets it and just stays quiet and just sees the point is I'm hurt. Like, who cares how he meant it? If I'm hurt, like, who cares? And maybe it does matter, but for some things, obviously it matters. It could be a misunderstanding or whatever, and I'm sure like certain things Dad maybe didn't mean the way he spoke it up, but he still did, and he didn't apologize, and not that he has to, but it happened, and he still continued, and it's still horrible, and the point is still that I am hurt. No matter if he didn't mean any of what he said, that's fine, and I can understand that later, but right now, what he told me, what he said to me really hurt me. And that is the point. So I'll see how long it'll take me to calm down more, and maybe I'll talk to my sister, but honestly I don't want to lay all this on her. She doesn't deserve that, but why I would call her if I would, then it's just to cheer me up and for someone to be there for me. In the past they were so young, so my siblings couldn't even be there for me, and I just had to go through this by myself. The only options I had to talk to people were my mom and my dad, and I could often not trust Mom and lay all my sorrows on her, because I know often that would backfire onto me and hurt me even more if she didn't just see me but just saw Dad's side and how he meant it and explain what's going on with him. So yeah, like honestly, I know I'll be fine. I'm scared that it's gonna get worse when Dad comes home or whatever, because that's always what it was like in the past. I know that nowadays often both of us just kind of snap out of it or act normally again, or kind of like we learn from it, like we sink into the pain until it's all gone. Again, the song lyric. So we don't carry it around us with us the whole time, but I'm still scared of that. Like, obviously I am. It was so horrible in the past, because things like this happened which were horrible enough, and then that wasn't even enough. Like more came, and even more horrible things. There was never an end to it. So, but honestly, what I wanted to say is that I'm grateful this happened, because I can learn from it, I can heal and grow from it so much. And that's what I wanted as well. I want these holidays to be so I can learn and grow, and not that I want these horrible things to happen to me, which I really hope not, but I want to learn. I want to be aware of what's actually happening to me in certain moments, and then learn from that. And that doesn't mean that horrible things have to happen to me, but I can just go into my own mind, into my own feelings, and just learn from there. And that's, yeah, my intention for this holiday. I want to find myself, find back to myself, heal, learn, be aware of myself and what's happening to me and what's going on, and so on. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Probably seems like I'm really dramatic, and you know what, maybe I am, but this is all a learning. That's all that it really is, and I hope that ye could learn and grow from it. And I know in the long run this will help me. In the past it never did, except for years later when I could actually heal from it, but nowadays I can learn and heal so much quicker. That's why I know in the long run this will help me. unless maybe if it gets even worse when he comes back home and we have to check out the tiles at 4, and if that gets much worse, I don't know if I'll be so grateful for this experience then. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to my sister now, I think, because I'm getting a bit, like, you can hear I'm scared, and it would just be nice to see her. She's real in her presence, and she's there, and she's okay, and she's with me. So yeah, let's leave it at that. See you next time. Bye.